Hello and welcome to Cold Wans. If you're not familiar with what Cold Wans is, it's a 5-minute cold plunge into the post-plunge warm-up where we get to know our guest. Now I know you have two questions for me. One question is, where the hell's my beard gone? And the second question, who's our guest? Well, about the beard, we're not really going to talk about it because it was a mistake made maybe. I like the look, but it'll grow back and we'll go from there. As for the guest is a fan favourite, a returning guest, and he's been looking forward to this ice bath all day. So on you come, Marc, for your second run of the Cold Wans.
Thanks so much, Ken. What a warm welcome. And I just love ice baths. I love doing them.
You're literally lying. But it is what it is. Are you ready to get in this ice bath?
Nope. But we'll do it anyway.
Well,
and I'll suck it up.
Let's get to it.
That cold breeze is really nice as well.
Just getting you set up for the ice bath. Whew. But whenever you're ready, mate.
Yep, after you.
Okay, let's go. Get right under there, boy. Sit down.
Let's do it.
Right, so our topic of discussion today is, what confounding variables do you think people struggle with keeping to a diet or eating healthy with nowadays?
I mean, eating healthy is fucking tough as it is. Like, as simple as that. Like, sticking to a diet as well is solid. Like, I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually quite a skinny guy. Like, I'm relatively skinny, and I know the hardest part for me is, like, I eat good. I always eat fresh food and all that, but it's so difficult trying to stick to that, clean diet where you're not just like, oh, I'll just get a Macdos today.
Yeah.
And it's so easy when you're driving past those golden arches that you'll be like, I'll just get a Big Mac, right? But you need to, it's a factor of a lot of things. A lot of things go into it, like driving to a shop, what do I want for dinner? And then you don't want to have steak and chips again. You don't want to have chicken and rice again because it's so boring every single time. And then it's like, oh, you need to hit those calories and you need to hit that protein goal to see like proper results and all that. It's a pain from the get-go.
Absolutely.
What do you think about it?
I think one of the biggest probably variables for healthy eating is definitely the cost.
Oh yeah.
And that is one of the biggest reasons people fail. So, for example, I went down to Asda like 2 days ago or something, and I do like a lot of exercise, so I can get away with eating fairly shite stuff quite often, but I do eat really well usually.
Yeah.
But I was like, I have to go quick. I think it was yesterday actually. I went there after work and I was like, right, I need a quick snack before I go to bed because I have to set up for this, go to Muay Thai. So I went and got a pizza, and I went to the frozen bit, and you like look at them, and like obviously you're, to be fair, even bad food's starting to go up in price though.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like looking at the pizzas and you get like your Chicago Town and stuff like that. So like £3.50, £4. You're like, that's a lot of money for what you're getting.
For a tiny pizza as well.
Exactly.
And it's filled with fucking shite as well.
But then like, if you then compare that to kind of your healthy eating choices like chicken, fresh chicken, you go over there and it's like £6-7 now for like 500 grams. And that's, for me,
too much.
That's like one meal for me though.
Yeah.
Or maybe two if I pushed it really hard, but I'd have to eat small portions, and that's not what I go for. I go for big portions like 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So then you understand kind of why folks struggle, like financially wise, to eat healthy. It's a difficult thing to kind of overcome. Money is a very important thing in life now. Like nowadays, especially more than anything, because you need it for everything.
Oh yeah.
Like obviously you need money for everything all the time, but now it's even more important.
Yeah, because money makes the world turn, and like that's why I know it's like, especially living with Sophie now, is that we're like, all right, let's go do our food shopping, and then we're buying all this food, and then we're sat there and we're like, the price is going up already, and we've already spent 30 quid and we've only got lunch and dinner sorted.
Yeah, literally.
And then we just end up bashing out hundreds of rice and like no chicken
Yeah.
because we're like, oh well, we'll just fill up on rice then.
Just carving up, man. But that is genuinely, obviously there's loads of different fountain variables as well. Like obviously effort levels, I completely understand that, because making dinner sometimes can, especially if you've had a really busy day,
Yeah.
can be a tolling task. Like making my meal prep after like a day of double Muay Thai and then going to the gym is the most horrible thing ever. Cause I'm just oh, I can't be arsed.
The last thing you want to do after a long day, especially after like working a 9-hour shift, is you don't want to come home and be like, can't wait to stand and cook more food. Like,
not exactly, but I strongly believe that if the world wanted people to be healthy eating, they would need to bring down the prices of food.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. Obviously, I understand inflation. I understand like why money it goes up, but I still think with such a big drive from like government standpoint and like a social media standpoint, everyone tries to eat healthy.
Yeah.
but it's so difficult.
Oh yeah. It's honestly the most painful thing is like trying to stick to that clean diet, and it gets so repetitive so quickly. There's only so many fresh foods that you can mix together to make something fucking that you've not had yet
Yeah, exactly.
without it being somewhat similar to what you had the other day.
Literally, man. But also another thing as well, it's a big mental game, health eating as well, because a lot of people follow very basic recipes for health eating and they kind of follow that only, like chicken and rice, for example.
Yeah.
But when you eat that for like a week onwards as well, it becomes a game where like it's less about treating yourself and more about just changing your diet altogether because you don't allow yourself to be open with your eating. Like you can still eat healthy but eat good food. You know what I mean? You don't have to be 100% on bland chicken and rice, bland mince wraps, bland this, bland that. Like I'm pretty bad for meal prep wise to have very bland things
Yeah.
because it's easier to make for what I'm trying to do. Because like at work, I'm not really that fussed. As soon as I'm hungry, I'll just eat. I don't really care. But when I'm in my house, I like to like make proper steak, cook it in like oil, like garlic stuff and that. And then you like end up realizing that by the time you've cooked it and all that stuff anyway, you've made it like virtually not healthy for you regardless.
Yes.
So it's like it's finding a nice level ground, I think, for health eating. It's not about just going balls deep and fucking making yourself miserable because that is the first thing that people do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they put all this pressure on themselves to eat 3-4 meals a day if you're bulking, and it has to be this, it has to be that, I have to have certain carbs, and then they bore themselves out, and then eating becomes effort instead of like something that you should enjoy. And oh, I want to go cooking. Oh, I'm gonna cook this today. Now you're like, oh man, chicken and rice again.
Literally, I've done
brutal.
that so many times eating my meal prep. I'm just like, why
I
did
looked
do
in my
this?
cupboard and I went, what have I got? Oh, rice. I looked in the fridge. Chicken. I guess it's chicken and rice again.
But I mean, to be fair, like it's definitely it's on a bigger scale than just a personal level for health eating. It is. I know like everywhere pushes towards health eating and it's all about this and it's all about that, but it's so easy to fall to other things because especially you also realize that when you go to health eating stuff, they've not got the same kind of branding on it.
Yeah.
So like it's not there to entice you because they don't want to entice you. They want to entice you with this stuff that costs them nothing to make, but it's easy to distribute out because of that.
Like you were saying, I was in Asda. I was walking past the pizzas and they had the takeaway stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like takeaway packaging. And you look at that and you're like, oh, £6, decent. And then you go over to the boring steak aisle and you're like,
Yeah,
more chicken and steak.
Just a bit of meat and a bit of pie,
Instead of the colourful blue pizza takeaway. I know what I want to have. I want to have the pizza.
And that's it. It's all about marketing as well. Like it's easy for you to fall to colours and nice looking things, and that's what you'll always get drawn to because our brains are so small.
Exactly.
Realistically, like we all grew from being children that were like, "Oh, colours, that's sick." And
that's caveman brain.
Exactly. Like
bright colour.
It's a crazy thing, man. But I think we've probably ran up our 5 minutes.
Probably.
So we'll stop talking and we'll get ourselves into the post plunge warm up where it's a little bit less wet and a little bit more warm.
Oh, my favourite.
But before that, we'll get into the water and we'll see you there.
I don't know if I'm going to fit into the water.
So we're in the post plunge warm up. You all know what
warm up.
Fantastic. You all know what the post plunge warm up's about nowadays, so I'm not going to run you over. If you're new, we basically just get a chat going. So we usually start with 2 main questions for the post plunge warm up for our guests, and those usually just tell us a bit about before now, and a bit about what you're planning to do in your future. So we'll start off with the first question, and then we'll just kind of run through podcast kind of vibe after that, and we'll just talk and we'll just get on with it. But it's always important to have these 2 key questions just for folk to get to know you. So what's really happened to your life before now, Mark? Run us through it.
So up until now, I mean, the last time I was on, I wasn't really doing much, and that was what I was back in like winter time. So
It was one of the first episodes,
yeah. So
a long
like
time ago.
Good 8 months ago, something like that. So since then, bought a house. That was something. That's probably the biggest thing that I've done now, and that's the one that's taken up all the time. Is fully mortgaging a house, which is a long journey that is. Because obviously it's like, I think they say it's about 6 weeks. It's just not. It was about 8-10 weeks that it took us. So it was an absolute hassle. Up until that, I've not really done much, but that's probably the biggest thing.
And that is a very big thing as well.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
a house is like your first step into the adult life, like proper step into the adult life, to be fair. So.
Yeah, it sucks. I don't want to be an adult. Too much responsibility.
No, absolutely, man. But the thing is, I'm glad that you've done it so early, because like taking that investment, even though it can be tough when you don't have like exactly where you want to be with money, it's a tough investment just to go for. And you went for it, and that now means you've got that under your belt.
Yeah, and it's paid off, and so now I have that investment. Now I have that money there, so that when we inevitably sell the house, we're plentiful with money. Like, money won't be a worry.
Exactly. And putting your money somewhere like that, although you're still paying a mortgage and stuff, your money's like safe in that zone as well, because you own that house. Even though you pay up your mortgage, you own that house, which is, it's a big step to take, to be honest.
Which is crazy. I own a house. Who thought that would happen?
To be fair, me and Scott literally spoke about this in the last episode, and we said that we saw you being the first one to get a house, to be fair. But
It's funny because I was talking to Scott, and he came in work, and he was like, you know, who would have thought Marc Mclean was going to be the first one out of all of us to do absolutely everything? And I was like, oh man, I literally just took chances. I was like, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, then hey ho, that'll be that.
nah, it will work out though. Like, he's got a good dynamic, and the house is like almost perfect for like a couple as well. Like, it's actual perfect. Like, it's not the biggest house, but it's a lovely house for what you got. You know what I mean? So
It's real nice, and it has got that like perfect space where everything's within like grabbing reach, so it's not a hassle.
all open plan as well, which is, it's nice. It is nice having that kind of freedom inside your house. The only thing I was saying about the house is the fact that if I like, one, fell out with the person I was staying with, or two, just wanted some privacy. There's not much privacy going about in the house, but
No, you don't. It gets thrown out the window. Like I was saying to my dad, or my dad was saying to me, he was like, "So, how you getting on? Because I know you like your personal space." I was like, "Damn right I do. And I don't get any."
I mean, I suppose you have been together long enough, and you knew what you were getting yourself into, so you kind of had to accept that. And I mean, when you get in a couple and you move into a house, you need to accept that you're not going to have space all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, you got a car, you can go out and just go a drive if you need some fucking alone time.
Yeah, that's what I do as well. I'm like, I'm going out for a bit. I'll pop out for half an hour, come back, and then that's me. I don't need a lot of time to myself. I just need like a few minutes just to...
Aye, just enough.
Yeah. Where I don't need to like speak. And I could just like sit and be a bot for a wee while.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair, man. I feel like that's to be fair, a house is like one of those things that, especially nowadays, a lot of people don't even get involved with thinking about a house till like 25 onwards, because it's so hard to get your hands on one. And that's why there's so much respect there for you just going for it, because if you don't just go for it, then you're going to end up in that loop where you're like, oh, but it's a lot of money, it's a lot of like responsibility, it's a lot of this, it's a lot of that. You just went, fuck it. You know what I mean?
I'll say it now. If you're looking on the market and you're looking at stuff and you're like, oh, that's 200 grand or that's 300 grand, narrow that search down, because our house was 130,000. That's a 13 grand deposit minimum that you need. Or some banks now do a 5% deposit, so that's even less. And when you've got two incomes put together, it's not that difficult to actually get your foot on the property ladder. I think a lot of it is a mental game where folk have like, they're staying in their parents' houses and they stay in £500,000 houses and they're all new builds and stuff like that, and which is, you know, great for them. But, you know, when you're on a McDo's wage, it's a little bit daunting to some people. They're like, oh, I'll never be able to buy a house. No, you can. You easily can. You just need to get those two incomes put together, save up for a little bit. We saved up plenty of money to pay off everything within a space of a couple months.
It's all about planning as well, I suppose, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't plan, then it is going to fall through a lot easier, but...
And then just go for it. I mean, the best decision I made was just being like, oh, Sophie, we're buying a house. And she was like, yeah, I don't know about that. And I was like, nah, we're going to buy a house. And she was like, all right, okay, we'll go do it. And then it worked out perfectly, even though we were on 0-hour contracts. And banks don't like that. Banks don't like 0-hour contracts because they think you're unreliable.
Yeah.
And we still managed to get it. And it's a lot cheaper. Once you've paid everything off and then you're just paying your mortgage and you're paying for the lecky bill and stuff like that, it's a lot cheaper than what everyone thinks it's going to be. Everyone thinks it's going to be like a couple grand coming out your bank account each month. It's not, unless you buy a fucking stupid like £500,000 house, then yeah, it is going to be a couple grand a month, but it's really not that bad.
Nah, to be fair, I think in a lot of cases, if you're looking at that kind of money for a house, you've either got the money there that you could mostly pay up your deposit within like your first payment. Like if you're looking at like 500k houses, you've got money.
It must be nice.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but I mean, the thing is, what you've got is almost perfect for what you need, and that'll last you until whenever you're either ready to move, or even if you're never ready to move. You know what I mean? It would last you your whole life.
Yeah, when we want like a family and stuff like that, yeah, then it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think that's in the midst, like, for a bit of time, you know what I mean?
Like, obviously, we've got our whole lives ahead of us. There's no point rushing. Like, the only thing we're really rushing is the decorating.
Aye, but that's because you want to live in a house that feels like a whole
Yeah,
house
exactly.
that feels like a house.
That's the same point I made to her. I was like, oh, we need to, like, get the decorations. We need to paint the walls and stuff, because I was like, I'm not having it look shit.
Yeah. And that's totally understandable. That's exactly what you want. You want your house to be somewhere you want to live, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the way the house is built, it's all great, but if it's not designed the way you want it to be, furnished the way you want it to be, it's not a home, it's a house. But yeah. What about in your future? What are you thinking about?
Man, I mean, I don't know, man. This YouTube stuff seems pretty cushy. Who knows? Who knows what might happen?
We were actually just talking about that before we came on this, and we were like, oh, but I've got 2 like full setups for like my podcast, and only like the 2 mic setups, but I've got 2 condensers, I've got like 2 of everything else. So I was like, why don't you just start doing gaming, and we can do gaming together? I can give you one of my condensers, we can kind of record it this way. And he's down to do it, like, so.
So if that's something you want to see, make sure you say something about that.
Exactly.
So we can make that happen.
We can make that happen, absolutely. Because I mean, the thing is as well, with this opportunity, with all the new like kind of setup I've got as well, it makes everything so much better. It's so much easier. Like, everything's just all in one thing. So.
Yeah, and realistically, who wants to flip patties full time when you can play games full time?
Exactly. And the thing is, it goes nowhere. Doesn't matter. It goes somewhere. You made the effort, and that's the difference.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, you're gonna do it anyway. You might as well do it for money. So give it a go.
Exactly. I'll get paid for that. Absolutely.
So like me, man, I can't remember who I was speaking to, but I was like, if I could turn this into a job, I would be literally, my job title would be talk to people for money. That sounds unreal,
so
mate.
Dumb, mate.
It sounds unreal. You know what I mean? And like, it's like the goal's not even that unrealistic.
It's not. I mean, you just hit your. What was the video on with Scott?
1.6 right now.
1.6?
Thanks, mate.
1.6. But that's your first 1.6, and that was, you've got the formula right, you've got the setup right, it's looking professional, it's feeling professional. I feel fancy sitting here.
And that's all it needed. It just needed that push with. It's more like investing in yourself, you know what I mean? And I always say it to folk, I was like, if you have something you really want to do, invest in yourself, you know what I mean? It's the hardest thing to do though, because even me, I had a couple of worries about buying this, because I was like, what if one day I'm just like, nah? Or what if I'm like, one day I'm just like, it's not going anywhere? Or if like, there's loads of things that play in your mind when you go to buy things like this. Because the thing is, these mics and stuff, they're not going to have any use outside of me doing shit like this. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, exactly.
It's not like everyday use, like, oh, I'm just going to get my mic out and
just send out to myself.
Exactly. So like, having this set up is like, you put the money there, but the thing is also, you invest in yourself to then realise that you've got this for life. Because this stuff will last me a long time, until it gets outdated, but it's brand new stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so you'll get a good few years out of it. Like, it's good equipment.
Aye, like, in a few years' time, if you're hoping to see an actual move in this where you can turn it into a business, you're not going to even worry about this equipment anymore. You'll be having the top range stuff, so great stuff to start with, you know what I mean? And it will last. And Cold Wans is going somewhere. I can feel it. I can feel it.
To the moon.
No, not again, man. Not doing that again. Nah, but to be fair, like, I would love to see this gaming dynamic come from me, because I think you play games a lot as it is, so there's nothing wrong with putting things out there. The thing is, right, everyone's so worried about what folk have to say. I know you don't care, but I'm just like, in general, I'm like saying that if you recorded everything you've done in your life and you posted it, the chances of that getting out somewhere, endless. You know what I mean? You could be doing the stupidest shit and folk would be like, I like that. I'm going to start watching him. I like his personality. But folk don't record themselves because like, oh, but what if this one person that 3 years ago used to bully me in school goes, oh, you're a fucking gimp. Who cares, mate? Who cares? Are they the ones doing something with their life? No, they're the ones that are still sitting there gaining folk hassle for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you gain?
That's what we were talking about earlier, because we were like, oh, I know you don't care about what people think of you. Man, if I cared about what people thought of me, I'd get nothing done all day. Like, you need to just block out the fact that people are going to have opinions on you. People are always going to talk shit about you. People are always going to have opinions on you. No, not everyone's going to like you. It's as simple as that. The second you realise that you might not be everybody's favourite, you might not be the talk of the town, like, everything just goes so much better. I wake up blissfully every day knowing that everyone can talk shit about me, and I don't care.
Yeah, literally.
I just don't care.
Oh, this reminds me when I was speaking to Aidan, because me and Aidan were talking about this, and we're like, oh, it's like so funny how folk will say things, and they'll say things, and they'll say things, and they've always got such a big mouth until you make it, and then they're like, I knew that guy. Every time, like, I knew that guy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, so who cares me? Who cares if you knew me? Because you don't know me now, because you have... When you're at your lowest, they're happy to knock you down further.
Yeah,
but when you're at your highest, they're happy to follow on that bandwagon. I knew him. Who cares me?
When you actually do stuff for yourself, when you stop caring about the whole media aspect of it. Oh, I'm popular. Oh, look at me. I'm in a different country today. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing for yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
You're putting on a front. That's not who you are. Like, if you were yourself, no one would really see much of you because you wouldn't want to flaunt that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Oh, I just don't get it. Like, as soon as I stopped caring about what people thought about me, I papped social media off. I don't think I've posted on social media in like a good couple of years because I what have I got to show off? I don't care about anything. I don't need to post that I'm in a different country. I don't need to post. I didn't even post that I bought a new house. I think I maybe took one photo of like when we like first walked in the doors, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to show off what I've got. I'm happy with what I've got.
See, but it's good though. The best thing to do about these things is not to push it out there, because when you actually speak to people about it that you've not spoken to in ages, it's such a better conversation as well. Like I remember looking back at what I used to post on my story and being like, "What the fuck?" Am I supposed to-" Like it was at a point in your life you realise that it's almost like you're looking for attention of people.
It is,
And
that
is literally all it is, and it's crazy because why? Like,
Yeah.
And I know I was in that scenario, and I can openly say that I was in that scenario, and like I'll happily put my hand up and be like, God knows what the fuck I was doing then, because you don't gain.
Yeah.
You're looking for someone to mail you. Like, I remember when I used to get really bad with drinking and stuff as well, I'd put something in my story, be like, oh, just want to die, or something. It's just something really stupid that you're just like, why'd you do that? But it's just because you want someone to come and just, I don't know, mollycoddle you and be like, oh, this.
You just want someone to be like, oh, what's going on, mate? You know I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. It's the same with anything, though. You post something, you're not posting it because you're like, the original idea for social media was like, oh, it was a page for you, sort of stuff like that, and other people could see it. It's not like that anymore, because you're posting something and you're hoping that it's going to get likes, comments, you're hoping people are going to be like, oh, so jealous of you. Oh, I wish I'd done that.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I was there right now. And it's not going to happen. Like, no, if I post tomorrow that I'm at work, no one's going to be like, oh, what, man, can't believe it's your shift today. Like,
That's so real as well, man. I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, you de-worth yourself. You make yourself worth less as well.
yeah.
Because it's also a mental thing. Because when you post something like that, let's say you're in a different country or something like that, or you've just bought a new car or something like that, and you don't get that reaction that you're wanting of people, where they're like, oh, what, man? Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's so cool. All this and that. When you see that you don't get that, you're like, oh, well, what was the point?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, well, I don't even fucking care about my new car then.
Yeah.
I don't even fucking care that I'm in fucking Ibiza or whatever.
Yeah. That is the biggest thing though, because folk put so much into it for themselves mentally that they do like get so invested in all these likes and all these comments about people being like just bringing them up levels. But then when it doesn't happen, it is the worst.
Yeah.
Because even when I first started like posting my ice baths, for example, it would be like at the very beginning, everyone was like, oh, it's really good. And even like cold one, oh, it's really good. Everyone continuously commenting, giving me these, and then it eventually got to a point where it just got stale. And like I would be sitting there like, huh, like, do I stop?
Yeah.
No, I need to keep going. But why? I'm like, but I've explained why I do my ice baths and stuff, and that I do it for myself and stuff like that. So I have a reason, but
Yeah, but the thing is, you've already said, like, what we were just talking about there, is that you've done it right, because you're not after the likes, the attention. You're not wanting people popping up to you, go, oh, you're so inspirational. You know, like, you're doing everything right. You're not after that. You're doing it for yourself as well. So yeah, like the attention and the comments are great,
Yeah.
and the likes are great and all that, and you're wanting to make a career of it, which is great, but you're not focusing on the attention part.
Yeah. And that's what you need to get right.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, people need to live in the moment.
Like, the only time I'll openly say that I do look like for the attention sometimes is when I think I've done, like, I put a lot of time into a video and I think it's really good.
Yeah.
I'll find myself going on Instagram or TikTok just to see if it's been liked. That's genuinely because when you put passion into things and they don't hit, it's so upsetting.
Yeah.
Because like you feel like it's such a good video, but because algorithms like, nah, fuck that video. That's you actually put this time in, and then you just get blown out the water by it. That's probably the biggest thing, because a lot of people probably go into that kind of mindset with everything they post.
Yeah.
Whereas I only do it with like things that I know. Like, for example, I don't know if you saw the video of me, the three of me, right?
I did.
I know that was so badly edited, but I thought it was so funny to the point where I was like, surely it's going to do well.
I was howling.
And it didn't do well, and I was like,
It was that and the ice bath where you dropped off the fence.
That's done pretty well, though, to be fair.
That was hilarious. But the thing is, that's worth it, because it is funny. And it is going to get attention because it is funny.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the sweet spot. You need to find, like...
You're not flexing your ice baths.
just have a bit of fun with it. It's all about personality at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's what people like. That's what people come back for. They're not here to flaunt about how good you're doing or tell you that you're doing the best or you're looking great or whatever, or you're being the most motivational person ever. It's about the people that come back because they know you personally just from watching your videos as well. And that's the craziest thing about social media, is someone can get to know you so well just from you being yourself. And that's something I really struggled with before. Like, I'll again openly say that maybe at the beginnings of my videos, like at the very start of me doing my videos, they were actually quite good because I felt like this really good rush of doing it.
Yeah,
but then midway through, you can see I lose my personality. I kind of lose everything. I'm just trying to push things out.
Nah, you were just like, another ice bath. Can't be fucked.
Yeah, literally. And then you see, like, now I'm putting more kind of effort into my beginnings and stuff, and then even talking in it, I'm just better because I'm just being myself. And that's where you need to find the sweet spot. It's not about posting, I don't know, the new clothes you got on your Instagram, be like, oh, this is a sick outfit,
Just
right?
got a new Gucci bag. Like,
Yeah, and like, I understand why people do that, because it's like all about following trends and following what everyone else does, and that's the best way to do it or whatever. But when someone personally knows you for what you're doing, and you're doing something you enjoy, but you're putting it out there for other people to see, that's where the money is. That's where the gold is, with like, not even like genuine money, but just with knowing people. It's about that networking, and that's, I always come back to saying this about Cold Wans, but that's what I love about Cold Wans. It's the fact that, yeah, it's great having like you, Scott, anyone that I really know. It's great because we talk and we talk and we talk and we can talk for ages.
Yeah.
But when it comes to someone I don't know and they come in here and they've got the same mindset as me and I can just talk to them, it's so weird. Because some of the people that have been on this, I would never have spoke to in my life.
Yep.
Especially not with the mindset I had before, because I was a completely different person, and I would probably be sitting here. Say if you took this opportunity and you were doing something like this when I was the way I was before, I'd be like, what are you doing, Mark?
Yeah.
And that's the difference. You need to find yourself without following what everyone else is doing, because
you need to find your own comfortability, your own personality. As soon as you break away from following trends, like, it's almost like an awakening where you realise that you don't need to follow the trends. You don't need to be a sheep and worry about what clothes you're wearing. Like, man, I'm wearing like all Primark. It's comfy. I'm happy with it. I don't need to worry about what designer I'm wearing. Like,
but that should never be a point in your life anyway. It's never about what you're wearing. It's about, if anything, it's about how you wear your clothes.
yeah, exactly.
That's the most important. You could buy the cheapest stuff ever, but you could look way better than the guy that spent like 10 grand on his Gucci tracksuit that just looks stupid.
And their Moncler body warmers and stuff like that. Like, man, where'd you even get $2,000 for a jacket anyway?
Like, have money, spend money. Fair enough, right? If you've got the money, evidently enough that you can do that. But I just don't see the point why people go out and buy all these expensive things when they don't have enough money to like live a basic, enjoyable life. You know what I mean?
The people you see wearing super expensive clothes aren't happy.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
It's as simple as that.
and the thing is, even when you have loads of money as well, money isn't everything. Like, happiness doesn't come from money.
Yeah.
Happiness is genuinely about what you're doing in your life. Like, if I was to work in McDonald's, for example, for the rest of my life, I wouldn't be happy. And I know I wouldn't be happy.
Me either.
But like, me doing something like this and being able to openly say that I could possibly turn this into a career, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because this is something I would enjoy doing, because I like talking to people. I always have been like that. I've always been easy to speak to, and it's always easy for me to speak to other people. So having that opportunity offers you happiness with money on top of it. So it's like you're making a career out of what you want to make, not just taking what you have to take. And that's where you need to find the sweet spot.
And it's what everyone says as well, especially when like you're growing up in that. They say, "Oh, do something you enjoy that's going to make you money." God knows I didn't want to be in McDonald's earning money. I take 2 showers a day. Like you're never clean when you work there.
Yeah, it's a horrible feeling, that place. Just one shift and you're like,
one shift you're dragging your feet
gone.
home, get in your car and you start crying. Don't want to go back.
Nah, but to be fair, like, the place is an actual general rule of thumb. I'm not here to just shit on McDonald's. Like, actually, for working there for quite a while in my life, I think it's the comfortability it builds in you as well. That's the problem with somewhere like that. It's so easy, the job, that, well, most of the time it's so easy. It's more of a mental game than a physical game at the end of the day. Like, physically, job's easy. So you're like kind of stuck in this kind of loop where you've got such a comfortable place, you're getting paid so easily, like you're not struggling at all. And then you then look at yourself and you're like, but I'm stuck in this kind of loop now. And that's what everyone's like, oh, the rat race, you get stuck in your 9 till 5. It's not even a 9 till 5 McDonald's, it's a 9 till whenever the fuck you want me. Yeah,
It's a 5 till I let you go home.
yeah, literally. It's like, it's just that. But like, as an actual place as well, most of the time in that place, you're very much welcome. Do you know what I mean? It's like a very welcoming place, very friendly. Like, everyone there more or less gets on. There's not really any negative energy really pumps about that place. But as an actual lifelong job, it's not.
No, and I got to give it to the people that have been there their whole lives. Like, God knows how they do it. But the work's fine. The pay's good. Like, I got a house on the pay. Can't really complain.
Well,
And I kind of owe McDonald's for that. I mean, they also wrote up a reference for the banks and stuff like that. So, like, I suppose they're not all that bad. They're all right.
yeah, they're as good as it's gonna get, like, for a global company.
Yeah.
money hungry company. But I don't know, man. I think on the whole, like, social media thing as well, like, you have to find your place in it as well. It's not about kind of following everybody and doing what they're doing. It's about finding that sweet spot as well, because a lot of people nowadays, they'll see something that's really good and they'll be like, I'm going to do that. And then, but you'll never find success in following someone complete book by book. Like, it's just not, it's not viable. So you need to kind of try and either find something that's you or something that's just not generic. And it's a hard thing to do. Like, I remember when we were first talking about Cold Wans, that's such a good idea. I love ice baths. And you're like, Cold Wans? I was like, Cold Wans? That's it. That's it. And then that's where it just ran from there. And I was like, that's so crazy. Like, and that's the only thing that makes this more than a generic podcast, minus the people that are in it. You know what I mean? Because obviously you've got me, which is a different host from any other podcast. So that's the thing that makes it very unique.
Yeah.
But then you've also got your ice bath, which is, once that's set up properly and I've got the right kind of sound systems and stuff for there as well, it'll be good. And it's finding that bit that people love, because the thing is, when you bring people on it that can take an ice bath well, it's not as funny. But when you get someone that can't handle the ice bath, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's like, those people as well, you've got to fucking give it to them for knowing that they're going to get in there and make an absolute fool of themselves, but they don't care.
Like, the first time when I did that ice bath, Scott was the first episode, I was the second, and you're like, it's not that bad, but it was like November, and it was like 5 degrees outside, and
It was not November.
It was so November.
No, I started Cold Wans in like February this year. But it was like February that we started when I started it, so it was still really cold. We had a really cold January, February this year.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay,
I don't know. I remember it till after New Year.
I remember it being dark and cold, and when it's dark and cold, I think it's winter. So
basically, it was winter. To be fair, we had a cold beginning this year.
And I got unchanged and I stepped outside. It was freezing cold. I was like, I'm fucked. I was like, I'm so done. And when we got in it, and it was freezing cold, and I honestly, my whole body went into shock. I was just like, yeah, let's talk about social media. Yeah, that's cool. And then we got out, we done the podcast bit, and then you were like, right, let's go do some Muay Thai training. What, outside in the cold again? No more. But it is daunting, like when you first get in that ice bath. And even my reaction, I was sat there like for like a good like minute before like I chilled out a bit.
But it's genuinely just about. I think the biggest thing, like we spoke about this again before we came in here, while we were just kind of getting ready for this. Just speak about the fact that it's a mental game.
Yeah.
It's especially like, I don't like make the water unbearably cold. It's cold, but it's not unbearably cold. Because like, I know some people that do it at like 2 degrees and like less than that, and it's like iced almost over, and you're like, that's heavy stuff. But like the water here probably sits at about 6 to 7 degrees. Because it's just Scottish weather. We're never got good weather anyway, so it just sits at a decent temperature. Yeah. But it's that thought when you get into it, and it's about making sure you breathe. The breathing is the most important thing, because you go into shock if you don't breathe.
Yeah, if you, that's the mistake I made the first time. Is like I got into it thinking, oh, it's just a bath, and it's just gonna be a bit cold, and I went in just breathing normally, and then I just went into a phone, like,
yeah,
like because you just once it gets to your chest, that's when you're like, oh my god, that's fucking cold.
Yeah. Alright, once your whole body gets under and submerged, that's when it starts to, you feel it.
Yeah. And but then doing it today, you text me when I was just about to leave. You ready to visit the water? And I was like, no, I'm terrified of it. But it wasn't actually that bad.
No, but you could tell this time when you went in, you knew kind of what you had to do, because you and then you go in. Like, it's about taking that big deep breath, jumping in, and then just accepting it after that. It
still sucks, don't get me wrong. It's still cold. My feet are still cold. You then sit here like drinking the coffee and that like still warming up and you're shivering a little bit. But my reaction's pretty lackluster because it's my third time doing it. But you do get some absolute crackers. Yeah. But you gotta respect them because they're still doing it.
Yeah.
And they don't stand up either. They're just like, oh wow, and then they like calm down a bit.
And that's the thing as well. Like you need to. That's another thing. Like the people that you get on something like this, where it's like you're expecting them to do an ice bath, you just know they got balls, and I respect that so much, because like coming into a normal podcast, fair enough, it's daunting. Like speaking in front of what could be thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people, just depending on how the video goes, is daunting. Like I understand that what you say in that could be judged by anybody, what you say in that could be critiqued by anybody. Anything could happen from what you say on something like this, but having the balls to come on from the get-go, knowing that you're going into something like an ice bath, it's crazy. Because like that just shows that you've got that willpower to kind of get out of your comfort zone. No one that I really knows like, oh, I love ice baths. Minus me. You know what I mean? Like,
and even that's a push.
Exactly. Sometimes I wake up like, what am I doing? Why am I still doing this to myself?
I woke up to 3 texts from him going, you better be awake and ready by 1 p.m. And I was like...
Started crying instantaneously.
I don't want to do it today.
But the thing is, once you get past that, you get this setup and you get to just have fun and talk. That's the reward to doing something that's a bit more difficult. Obviously, I could just be like, oh, I'll just cut the first part and I'll just start doing a normal podcast. But then it's not unique.
But yeah, then if you like just sort of sat there and just started talking, it's you lose the fruit of it, and that's the ice bath part.
And the thing is as well, you come in with a much better headspace after an ice bath as well. Like I feel like for a lot of people, they're more freely speaking and stuff when they've maybe went through that a little bit of out comfort zone, because it makes you then more comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing in ice bath because it is such a unneeded pain almost. Like you don't want to do it, so when you do it, the rewards are so much better. Because then you get out of it, you start warming up, your body starts to regulate everything better, your blood's pumping better because of all the good things that happen for your circulation inside your body from an ice bath. And then you get into this part, you've warmed up fully and you just talk. And you're more willing to say things because you've already went through that kind of pain in the first part. So it's like, it's good.
The uncomfortable part's over, then you get to be nice and comfy. There's a little campfire in the corner and stuff. Like, it's chilling here.
Yeah, you just chill. And you can talk about anything. It's a free space. As long as we cut down the swearing, because, you know, monetization and stuff doesn't like swearing, apparently.
What do you mean? I don't even swear. I swear.
I've already swore like 3 times.
Yeah, so have I. You started doing it, it's out the window.
Yeah, I saw it. I'll just take a bit more time to make sure I bleep them all out this time, which is easy enough. But it's a crazy thing, man. Like, see, the thing is as well, like, see how we start with these 2 questions and now we're just talking.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. Like, I was when I said it to Scott, like, it's just cue cards. I was like, yeah, it's like for certain people you need them because some people don't know what to talk about.
Yeah.
So if you start with something that's easy and is about them, they get more comfortable because they're kind of speaking about themselves, and then you can just kind of start laying it on them. And like obviously, with us, it's easy because we know each other, just back and forth, just about anything. You know what I mean? But with some random people, you don't know how comfortable they are to start with. There's loads of different things. They could be going through stuff in their life that they haven't spoke to you about. You know what I mean? Like, there's several different things that can be happening in their life, and
Or they could just be having a bad day and then they've got to come and do this, and then they're just saying,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean.
And the best thing that what I can do as the host here is try and make you feel as comfortable as possible and just kind of talk.
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect you to come in and talk about your life and talk about bad things that have happened or whatever, like your whole life story. It doesn't have to be that way. It's more just about talking, you know what I mean? That's the beauty of a podcast. You just talk.
It's the talking. If the topics are there, then it's a good chat. And obviously, if people are interested in our opinions, and it is what it is. If people aren't, then fair dues. But I like to think we're pretty interesting, so I'm going to keep that in my head that we are.
Best way, that's how you have a better podcast, man.
This podcast gets 30 views, and I'm damn it.
Nah, I'm sure after Scott's one, because this one's going to be even more cleaned up than the first one. I think this will do just as well, if not better.
Yeah.
And I mean, I kind of, with Scott's one, I still trying to kind of stayed to that kind of Cold Wans-esque structure where I was like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I just want to talk.
Yeah.
This is a better way to do it. A podcast should never be split up by topics or by like sections. It should just be freely flowing, and then whatever happens.
Yeah. And another thing about this is it gets good because you're the first one in our friend group to like really take that chance and put themselves out there, and yeah, you've got the confidence and the ability to do it and all that, but taking that first step to be like, I'm going to put myself in front of a camera half naked and then dunk myself in an ice bath, like, that takes balls. It's like what we were talking about earlier, of like 2-3 years ago, I would have turned around and been like, Kel, what are you doing? Just put your clothes back on, mate.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm lucky that I've kept myself in a very good shape most of my life. So it's not like I've got anything, like, not that there's anything wrong with anybody else's body, no matter what shape or size, but I'm lucky I've got a very favoritized maybe kind of body, because I've got a very good body type, I would say. So
Yeah, so it's...
I've not had any negative critique on my body so far, so there's no body shaming happened, which is good. The only thing I would say is I actually had a wee look back at like my first couple ice bath videos, and I was like, damn, I look so big. And then like I looked at like the recent ones, I'm like, damn, I'm losing some muscle. You can see it, but I've had a very specific change in my kind of fitness life. I don't really lift weights as much. I'm more Muay Thai. It's to be expected.
Yeah,
you don't keep your like muscle weight. You know what I mean?
When you're not lifting weights and you're just doing pure fighting and cardio, the weight's going to drop off, but you're more toned for it, and you're better health for it as well, because you're not just heavy circle the whole time. You know what I mean?
Oh, I can lift the weight to be. I'm sick. That's what I see. Like, seeing or going to the gym, right? And I know all the folk from the gym, and you like speak to them, and you're like, oh right, you get a good bit of personality from some of them, and some of them are really decent people. Some of them are a bit like, oh, I'm better than you because I can lift heavier. No,
Yeah.
But then see when you go to a Muay Thai gym, it's like the personality that you gain from those people, because you're all there to do the same thing, and you're all going to be at slightly different levels, but we're all there to have fun at the end of the day. And it's so weird to say that one of the most brutal combat sports is there to have fun, but you go in and you meet some amazing people at something like Muay Thai, because you are all there with the same intentions. It's not about lifting heavier, it's not about this, it's about having a fun spar and learning from each other.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I've found such a love for Muay Thai, because it's the people there just as much as the actual activity.
Right.
I'm not saying like I'm one of these guys that would want to go out in the middle of the streets and be like, oh, I can fight now, I'm going to go fight folk. That's maybe before, but not now. I'm not like that. But having that knowledge and being able to defend yourself and stuff like that as well is so rewarding. Like, and then you'll go against someone that's way better than you, but you'll still give them a good couple of cracks. Like, oh, that was good. I didn't see that coming. And then that's rewarding for you, because you're like, okay, so I'm learning from this guy that's way better than me, and he's had hundreds of fights or whatever. But he's just turning like, that's really good what you've just done. And that gives you that little level up that you need just to be like, right, let's keep going. Because Muay Thai can be one of the easiest or one of the hardest things to push yourself to do, because it's like an ice bath. You're going into a very uncomfortable position. Like, you don't want folk punching you all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a scary thing
Who wants
sometimes.
punched?
Exactly. Like it's a scary thing to be faced by. But when you start to see yourself develop and you start to go more and you start to be really consistent with it and you start to see your levels, just bam, 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 and then you see that goal of your first fight, and you're like, I'm capable of now going into a ring and having a decent, like, proper fight with someone that's for competition that will then put me on the map.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's something you don't get from, well, you could get from, like, weightlifting, but it's a different type of
It's quite limited. Though.
Yeah.
Like with weightlifting, if you want to make a career out of it, it's weightlifting.
Yeah.
Whereas Muay Thai, you got MMA, boxing. Like you put a lot of skills into the one,
Yeah.
and it's a like if you didn't want to do Muay Thai, you could go off and do kickboxing.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do kickboxing, you just knock it down to boxing.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, or jiu-jitsu as well. Like there's so many avenues you can take with it.
Aye. If you go into something like bodybuilding, it's like bodybuilding, or you can go into like strength training for like competition lifting, or you could go to like strongman if you have the body type to then build yourself up to that. There's little avenues there, but they're also far and like thin and far between. It's like it's not like a little jump.
Yeah.
If you want to be a strongman but you've been bodybuilding your whole life, you've got a long way to go because you need to put on so much weight. Whereas like even from like a bodybuilder stance to like a power lifter, it's a completely different training avenue you'd have to go down because you're all about reps to like rep retention and stuff when you're down at bodybuilding, but then you want just solid 2 to 3 reps of the highest weight you can for powerlifting. So it's like you have to completely change, and it takes years sometimes for your body to get used to changing your kind of training regimen. You know what I mean? Whereas with Muay Thai as well, it's not even just about the different sports within combat sports. You can like within Muay Thai, there's like several different ways you can fight. So you could be like a technician. You could be what they call a FEMA. I can't remember what it's called. But it's basically you can be really, really defensive, you can be really, really offensive, you can be really, really flary fighting. You can like there's loads of different ways you can fight, and that's how you train. It's very specific to you. And you can also find ways that folk have never fought before. It sounds crazy because there's only so much your biomechanics in your body can actually move.
Yeah.
But there will be ways that folk have never kicked somebody. And you can make that perfect. And that's the crazy thing about fighting. You can find your own way that works for you, and you can make that work. Like, obviously, there's going to be pros and cons to everything. There always is. You're going to find probably a lot of problems with doing really flary kicks because folk are going to be like, that's so easy to read because you're doing bloody 3 flips before you go to your kick and just to look cool.
Yeah.
Then folk are like, oh, well, I'll just punch him in the face. Like, fair enough. But you're putting yourself... But if you can make it right, you'll know that they're going to punch you in the face, and then you can do something about that as well. So it's all about building up the knowledge. It's the ability to grab knowledge from other people and other like situations that folk have been in and the ways that folk train and make it yourself. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing. And that's probably the best thing about Muay Thai. You feel like you're actually achieving something rather than just looking at your body everything like,
Gym pump,
yeah, I put myself through a lot of pain to get nowhere. Like,
12 sets of bicep curls. Yes!
and yeah, don't get me wrong, you look sick when you've like lifted a lot of weights and your body's all pumped up and you look good, like, and you feel good because you look at yourself and, oh, I'm getting somewhere.
Your body changes, and it's something that's what you want to see. You're not lifting weights because it feels good, because it doesn't.
It doesn't, no. I can definitely agree with that one. Like.
And like you see the difference in like your arms, your chest, your legs, like, and then you're like, yeah, and then you get that dopamine hit, like, well, that's what I'm wanting. But then once you steer away from that and you actually go to the fighting, I think the fighting is more satisfying than the weightlifting. Because when you're fighting and then you learn something, or you get something a bit cleaner, or you've read something and then you get another hit off really easily that they didn't see coming, that's when you're like, oh, I made progress. Like you make progress a lot quicker in fighting as well, which it feels more rewarding. I mean, when we trained together, and like the first couple times, like I just got smacked about. But then I would back away, but then I got more confident and I could read it, I could throw kicks at you, and I could catch your kicks. And like it was way more rewarding doing fighting than it was weightlifting for me.
That was like, when we were doing it, it was like only within the space like a month's difference that we had been doing our 3 training sessions. Like, and that just shows like, if you put the time, like we only sat there for maybe, well, to be fair, some of the days we were there for like 2 hours.
We'd finish work, or we'd go down at like 11 and we'd leave at like 3 in the morning. Like we were training for a while, but I mean we never left going, oh, that was shit.
Yeah.
So
But you never feel like shit when you do that as well. Like, it's two different types of reward that you get from weightlifting and doing something like that as well. It's like when you push yourself so hard, like stamina wise and like cardio wise, you feel so good when you get to the end of it. Like it's like every class I go to for Muay Thai, for example. I came to your house like 2 times after it, and I'm just sitting drenched in sweat, and I look like I've had the worst time ever. But in my head, I've had the best time ever because I've pushed myself really hard to get to where I want to be within that session, and it's just rewarding. There's nothing more rewarding than knowing you pushed yourself to a point where everyone else would be like, that's maybe enough for me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And like I know a lot of people that would do that. Like,
And you still go back the next day.
exactly.
Like, even though you've just been used and abused, and your legs are all jelly, and you're like coming to my house and you're covered in sweat as if you swam here. Like,
didn't even swim there either.
that is mental to me that you didn't, because you could have fooled me. But and then you wake up the next day, eat 6 more eggs, and then go back to training.
Fucking love eggs, man. Eddie Abu, if you're out there and you ever watch this, you're the king, man. You're the king.
This man's eating 6 eggs in a wrap and calling that a meal.
It's really, really horrible, actually, to eat that many eggs in one go, but I mean, you got to get them in at some point, so.
It's just not a meal. Just like, I can't wait to wake up in the morning and eat more eggs.
Man, it's good though. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's one of those eggs are like putting yourself out your comfort zone as well.
Here we go.
No, eggs are actually like putting yourself out your comfort zone, but because like they're like it's like the last food you want to eat in most days. Let's be honest. Come on. Like as much as I enjoy eating them sometimes, it's like even when I make my breakfast, I'm like, oh, I could have some bacon, could have some sausages,
But no, you choose eggs.
could have some beans, could have some potato scones, but no eggs. In fact, no, let's just have all eggs and nothing else. That's literally how it goes every morning.
Maybe we were talking about rising food costs and stuff like that outside. You're like,
I am the
"Oh,
reason."
man, it's so expensive trying to buy fresh stuff. If you're eating 6 eggs in one go, that's a fiver right there.
Yeah, it's fair to be honest. But I would put my money into eggs. That's investing in me. I'm investing in myself.
Oh,
It's good though. Love
that's
eggs, man.
funny.
Nah, it's
Stop.
nah. To be fair, like eggs are definitely not. Yeah, no, they are. Let's be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna say I don't eat them that much, but I do. It's just such a hard food to not get in your diet though, especially if you're wanting to try to eat really healthy, because it's for your bang for your buck.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Like it's such an easy food to eat. You can mix it with just about anything, and it just disappears because it's just there's nothing.
It's just egg.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, let's stop talking about eggs, man. Before I go and fry up 6 eggs and eat them on the pod.
You're like, oh, hold on, wait a minute.
Comes back with 6 bad boy eggs in one wrap. Oh,
I knew we'd end up talking about eggs.
it was you, mate. It wasn't even me. I thought it was going to be me that brought up, but I should have brought up a nice bath talking about how good eggs are.
So Marc, I want to talk about how good are eggs.
Just get our eggs, bruv. Well, anyway, we'll go into a little bit of reacting time because I love this new setup. This new setup brings so many opportunities, and it's great. So what me and Marc are going to react to is a couple of clips of For Honor. If you don't know what For Honor is, it's basically this. It's like a combat game, but it's like I would have said medieval, but it's not even medieval anymore. It's like every single. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like every single type of fighter that has ever existed all in one game.
I'd say it's probably medieval.
Really?
Yeah,
Pirates? Shaolins? Or whatever, the monks?
Monks, sure. Pirates.
It's a bit all over the place now. Back when it first came out, it was like medieval. It was samurais, knights, and Vikings. So it was like those 3 like kind of groups
And
of
it's
people.
funny. It's good fun.
It is, honestly. It's one of the only games that'll ever wrench the most amount of anger out of me ever. But at the same time, I just can't stop playing it sometimes. Like, I don't play video games very much, but when Mark's like, let's play some For Honor, I'm like, you know.
And then we sit there and we waste our whole day goofing off.
And that's what we're thinking about recording if you want to see it.
So yeah,
Just let us know.
if you want to see me and Kyle, mainly Kyle, rage at a silly video game that came out like 10 years ago, make sure you let us know.
Yeah, we could do that.
That can be arranged. Clip that.
Yeah, this is a short now if you want to know.
This is a short. Calling all of Cold Wands.
Cold Wans to the moon.
Cold Wands to the moon. You want to see me and Kyle game.
Oh god.
That's the clip. That's the money maker. Just me staring really creepily at the camera. No, but seriously,
Thumbnail correct.
if you actually want to see me and Kyle sit and beat the fuck out of each other in a video game, let us know.
Yeah, let's do it.
That'll be funny.
Yeah, no, we will actually do it though, because like I was saying, 2 setups, it would be all nicely set up for the actual videos as well. Wouldn't it just be screen recorded with like us talking in the back on like PS chat? So it would be actually decent. So it would be worth having a wee look into if you would be up for it. I mean, I'd definitely be up for it, but
Me too.
it's up to you. Well, actually, it's not up to you. We're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, it's going to happen. We'll just do a trial run, fucking run with it, see how it goes.
The worst thing that can happen is nothing happens.
It flops.
Exactly. That's not even a bad thing because we'll just do it again anyway.
Yep, exactly. And we'll just keep doing it until it eventually takes it off.
If Cold Wans takes off, I'll just become the main sponsorship for Honor fighting gameplay.
Yeah.
Here, go and check out the new For Honor video over at Marc's channel. No. Cheers, man. Right, anyway, let's get into this reaction. So,
I've also never seen this because I don't like watch YouTube like at all.
I mean, my reaction's going to be a bit shit because I've already kind of watched it because I had to make sure the clip was actually decent, but just being honest. This is what For Honor's all about, man.
Classic ganking.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're about to get to the heaviest gank that's ever existed. This guy's like the only person that ever records For Honor anymore as well.
I was going to say, you don't see many people shooting For Honor.
To be fair, it's because it's so old, like, it's like everything. It kind of goes out and stops becoming kind of important, if that makes sense. But this is such a good bit of play, like, he's switching between. There's not a lot of people like at our level do those sort of things, you know what I mean? It's kind of just very linear.
At the same time, they're trying to get the revive off when they could just batter fuck at him.
Oh shit.
Right, just, oh shit, he knows what's happening now, he's in trouble. But you can just tell this guy's been playing it for a long time. Like,
Way too long. That's way too much focus. Way more focus than what I ever have.
but by the end of it, he wins that 3v1, which is insane to be honest.
Nah, bro's cheating.
All that was missing from that, oh, it wasn't even on Breach of that, so it was on Elimination, so I was going to say the only thing that was missing.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say the only thing that's missing from that is your team is breaking. Oh, we got a wee bit of PK going on here.
We know he's not good anymore because he's playing his PK.
Or maybe he's just too good. Because PK is basically like having a disadvantage at all times.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and PK also just can't defend.
He's well going to win this fight, and we're going to be well mugged off by him.
So it's a 4v1, and none of them are ganking.
It's a 4v2. Oh, no, it was a bot, actually. Yeah, it was a 4v1 then. Oh. Here we go. Nice.
Wait, did you see that as well? Is that just me?
Yeah, that's that.
Oh, revenge feed. Oh, revenge feed.
He's so desperate for the kill. He's getting kill hungry.
That revenge is so slow at building up.
Oh. It's good play. Oh. He's like, I'll get the res. Yeah, so you will. Aye, man, I respect folk that put this much time into this game though. Like, if there's any game that I would want to spend time in, it would be something like this, because it's so rewarding getting to like, kind of like martial arts. You learn things and you become really good at like what's, I don't know.
Yeah, it's all reaction based as well, and it's funny like when you actually do play it, because it is just so goofy, especially when you're in those situations.
It's just me screaming, why stop getting ganked? Literally every time. I'll get one more clip in and we'll just... It's gonna be another ganking in it. He's raging about something. I don't know what though, because he seems to still be doing alright.
I mean, he's getting slapped about, but his team are there.
Lawbringer got kill hungry. Who would have thought?
They're all gonna get pushed in the fire. I'm calling it. Yeah.
Whoa! What?
What the?
Oh.
You punched him into another dimension.
Oh.
That's good.
Alright, just what? classic teammate on Dominion. Watches you die, then decides to come in for the kill straight after.
That's my favourite part.
They want to disrupt me. Oh, what?
Bro got all his kills stolen.
I think could watch that all day, but I think that'll be enough.
Yeah, it's...
So that's a little sneak peek of what we could be playing, because I thought it would only make sense to get this up, because we spoke about it before, and I was like, well, actually, we spoke about reacting to this anyway, but I thought, why not react to something that gives you an opportunity to see what we would be videoing?
Yeah, it's a good laugh. Like, obviously, that's quite, like... He's sweating his arse off, like, doing that and then clipping it, but, like, we wouldn't be trying our absolute hardest. And,
To be fair, that's his career though, so you can understand why.
yeah.
That's like what he makes his money from, clearly, with that 500k views on a game that was, 10 years old or something. So, understandably, like, I mean, I know that was a year ago, but even a year ago, that's 9 years ago the game was brought out. And most of the time, retention on a game does not last that long.
No.
So, clearly, Ubisoft done something right for once in their lives.
It's not. It
Sorry,
doesn't happen
Ubisoft.
often,
I know.
but it does happen.
Yeah, Ubisoft are so hot and cold sometimes, but nah, this is definitely an opportunity I can see going somewhere if we go for it.
Yeah, I agree. I reckon do a couple trial runs with it.
It doesn't even have to just be this as well. Like, if there's anything else that we can play it as well. I'm not really fussed. Just add something a bit more exciting, because like obviously the podcast is great, but it's quite serious in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's like, obviously it's not too serious. Like, we like to have a laugh, we like to talk, and we like to whatever, but it can be serious. It depends who's on at the end of the day. Like, you know what I mean? Podcasts are always kind of like that though, but with something like that, like production of like a video game, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, not production of a video game, that would mean that we're making one, but like doing video through video games is good fun. And I mean, we have time in our schedule that we can make for it, so
Yeah, absolutely.
it could be a thing. Absolutely. But yeah. Oh man.
I look forward to it. I think it'd be good. I can picture it.
Yeah, so can I, to be fair. But I mean, we'll have to just give it a trial run, see how it runs. It's more, I think the more thing for me is that I know this can all run through a TV, but I don't know how it works within talking to each other, so we'd need to try and kind of work out how that works.
Yeah.
But it's all things that we could have a look into. Even try and get something together for next week. Not to get it up for next week, but get it together video-wise, and then get it edited and see where it goes. But it's all things to think about.
100%.
The other thing we were going to react to was our really good to this Tuesday.
Something that didn't get enough attention, and I'm mad about it.
Indeed. But I don't actually have a clue how I'm going to do this, so give me 2 seconds, guys. Mark can just be your co-host and enjoy a moment. Just what? In fact, you know what? Mark can react to some more For Honor videos while I translate it.
Oh. No.
In fact, no, I'm actually going to make Mark talk because that's better.
So how are we all doing today? Doing another episode of Cold Wans. It's my third time on it. Kyle said in the intro it's my second time. It's actually my third time. Kyle forgot the part where I hosted his episode.
Yeah, he's correct.
Silly boy over there. I hope we're all doing good. I hope we're all enjoying the video so far. I hope we're all enjoying the podcast. I hope you're all happy that your favourite guest on this show is back. Get some W marks in the chat. Goated marks in the chat.
Please don't do that.
Please do that.
No, please don't do that.
Put the praise signs.
Yeah, no, do that one. Bless up to you.
Just put my name on it though. Nothing else. Good video, Mark. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh.
He swore again, yet he's trying to make a living out of this. Gotta be a bit more family friendly.
Indeed.
Welcome to Mark's ASMR YouTube channel. Like I said, that Tourist Tuesdays that me, Kyle and Scott did. I'm really upset about it. We spent a lot of time on that. No, we didn't. But it was funny. I thought it was funny. I thought we did a really good job on it. What about you, Kyle?
I thought it was.
So did again.
I thought it was hilarious. To be fair,
Lightning strikes twice, Kyle. That is it. 2 strikes. No monetization for you. No money.
no, please.
McDo's forever. Gang up. Gang up the burger.
That has got to be the worst thing you've ever said to me. If there's any reason that I'm going to try really hard now, it's to get away from that place.
This has been the longest monologue ever. I'm struggling to run out things.
I do really apologise, but I'm trying to find the video.
Kyle can't find his own bloody YouTube channel. He genuinely can't find his own channel.
Apparently I don't exist on TikTok.
So, I wonder who's going to be on Cold Wans next week. Will it be me again? I know you all hope it would be. I could... Hell, please hurry
I'm
up.
honestly not going to lie. I can't find it, mate.
Please hold.
So now I'll take over from this bit. How are you all feeling today? Are you feeling cold?
Wans.
Are you feeling like Wan? Of the cold one? Well, if you want to be a cold one, all you have to do is mail me, and I can get you sorted.
I found it.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a really decent stick you got there, bro.
Oh, no.
The old date has gave in to us, man. He's let us down.
Come on. See?
Right, back to us. So if you want to come on Cold Wans, guys, all you've got to do is hit me up. There might be a deposit now because I've had too many cancellations, but we can sort that when you get mailing me. Cold Wans, Livingston, if you're from this place, or Edinburgh or Glasgow, hit me up. We can do this. We can run it back. Excuse me. Cheeky bastard.
I don't know if it'll work.
Oh, you have to watch it again. Oh,
Sorry,
yeah,
don't worry about it.
I'm so happy.
Why don't you look up?
Dunsmore Parkhouse.
Prepare to join us for Tourist Tuesday adventure. Me, Scott, and Marc. Let's go.
I love the part where you say we have to retake the walk-in.
That's a good stick you got there, too, man.
Cheers,
Actually.
bro.
Feel incredibly safe up here, like.
It really wasn't safe up there.
Are you sure?
It wasn't even safe.
Probably the most uneasy I've felt in my whole life walking about an abandoned place. Like, I can't lie. Look at it.
So good. It's so good. Oh. I kind of wish I put a JPEG inside that. That would have been fucking hilarious.
I already made a previous adventure to the Dunsmore House Park, and it was just so good that I had to come back for round 2. The place is just so crazy looking, and honestly, you just don't know where and what you're gonna find. I could have sworn there was something in here. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Just look at how crazy this place looks.
Wait, who was that?
Oh, it's so funny.
There's such a different feel to Dunsmore House Park this time around. It's almost more ominous, and I feel like someone's following me. So strange. You'd have thought on a Monday there wouldn't be strange people kicking about Dunsmore House Park, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm so wrong.
Yeah, it was better. I kept saying Dunsmore Park House, no, Dunsmore House Park, but it's Dunsmore Park House. It just makes it so much
Exploring
better.
abandoned buildings is like stepping into a forgotten story. Where every corner holds a whisper of the past, and every shadow conceals a secret waiting to be discovered. There's just something so crazy about being in these abandoned places though, even with your pals. You feel so alone, so isolated, and there's just so many crazy things that can happen to you in the middle of nowhere.
No, not again, man.
Right
It's
at the end.
so close. Oh.
Oh well, life's a bitch.
Not a bit. It's the wee sound effect. So good. What are you doing up that tree, bro? It gets all ominous again. Just before the...
And that'll be the closest to this Tuesdays. What an amazing abandoned building this is. But we all know where we come from. We must go back.
Honestly, it's so good.
I'm so upset that didn't do as well as we all thought it would. Because that was probably the most fun I've ever had recording a video. Like, it was just so goofy.
That's like what we were talking before though. You put so much, not as much effort, but you put so much passion into something, and then it just doesn't hit, and it's so upsetting because it's so funny.
Yeah, like
Obviously I understand that like when you do things and you watch things that you've done, it can be funnier. So sometimes to outsider folk, but I got loads of folk being like, that was the funniest thing I've ever watched.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's such a shame because if it got further out, it could have been really good.
when we were doing the part where Scott runs across and he falls over, it took us 3 takes to get it, because every time Scott tripped up and fell over, you would just start burst out laughing, and then we had to fucking redo it, and then by the end he was like, ow.
And his trousers are nearly ripped open and that because he was so set for the part, man.
Oh man, that was I'm once again so upset I didn't do better.
But I could now that you've saw it on Cold Ones. So go over to Instagram and go and give it a like. Or TikTok.
YouTube Shorts, Cold Wans, Dunsmore Parkhouse. Kev, Scott and Mark.
Round number 2.
Round number 2. Do we do it again? Who knows?
Not at Dunsmore House Park though.
Go back to Dunsmore Parkhouse again. 3rd time round.
No, it's Dunsmore Park House, not Dunsmore House Park.
It's a fucking shitty building in the middle of nowhere. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's fair. It wasn't literally in the middle of nowhere, but you go through the woods and you're like, what?
And we sat outside it for half an hour trying to get your drone to work. So we can.
I wish we got clips of that. That'd been so funny.
And we sat there, it's fully charged, so we'll have time to get the shot. Turned it on. It had 100 seconds of battery life, and it just dropped off.
Managed to finally get it working. It flew up and just stopped working.
Up, please.
It's alright. I returned it and got full refund. So to use it, shops that gave me that refund, thank you. But stop selling that drone because it's fucking shit.
It was terrible. Like, it was actually it was quite hard to watch him try to organise that drone because it couldn't get signal.
Yeah, that
The
was probably the
fly.
most painful thing ever.
I was like, oh, like, and we were just, me and Scott were literally just sat, like, Scott ended up just lying down in the abandoned house and was just taking photos of, like, the things that he was seeing, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you got a pretty nice shot to be fair to that. It was quite a sick little picture, but yeah. Only buy drones that are actually good, guys. If you're buying a drone, make sure you invest actual money because
I mean, £200, that's a pretty penny as it is.
yeah, it was so bad. So like, DJI is where you want to go for your drones. Like not DJI, what a sponsor, Cold Wans.
Cold One sponsors. Hit Kyle up on his business email at xkylexdixonx@gmail.com.
I can't believe you just sent my email out there, you prick. Now folk are going to be emailing me to my 7,000 emails I've got waiting on me.
Maybe that's better. Here, can I do Cold Wans? xkylexdixonx.
There's just a wee PayPal link underneath it. Fiver. 1 fiver equals 1 Cold Wans.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Well, we've like ran up an hour and 10 minutes.
That's decent time, to be fair.
It's a long time.
That's a long time.
And that's the difference it makes with this setup.
Yeah. And of course, we're all happy to see me back in this chair.
Well, we're going to run back the same question as we did for you the last time you were on this to see if you've
I'm
got
gonna
a
have the
change
same
of...
fucking answer.
There you go. Okay, fair enough. Well, have you got a piece of advice or a quote for the people out there that might help them?
A piece of advice or a quote. Well, my favourite quote at the moment goes something like this.
For honor!
For honor! No.
Oh, that's going to break people's eardrums. I'm so sorry.
Whoops.
I apologise.
Not. Here's Marc's quote of the day. I can't even remember how it goes. Ah, got it. Nothing about me is an original. I am a collection of everybody I have ever known. That's my favourite quote at the moment.
And it's facts.
Facts. It's factually correct.
That is so true. Usually I would talk about it a lot, but the icing's kind of on the cake for that one.
Yeah,
be
it's
honest.
pretty self-explanatory, to be honest.
So, yeah. It was great having you back on, Mark.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being back.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you very
Get a
much.
little handshake in there. Yeah. But yeah. If you want to see this, YouTube, For Honor, YouTube, any game.
Might not even have to be for honour. It
Exactly.
could be anything.
But we'll make it happen.
We can make it happen.
ASMR.
What? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But anyway, on that note,
This concludes Marc's ASMR. Please like, subscribe, follow. And
what he said.
who will be the next Cold WAN? Stay tuned till next week to find out.
If you want to be the next Cold Wan,
Fiverr.
hit me up. But anyway, outside of that, guys, that'll be the close of the Cold Ones. And except from that, we'll see you again tomorrow. Well, I'll see you again tomorrow.
You only see me tomorrow. Probably not. I hope not, anyway.
Unless he wants another Cold Ones. In fact, nah, he's going to start doing the daily ice baths because he loves his ice bath.
Like, quote of the day. I'll just start like peering in the back and shit. Just stare in the bathtub with you. Get what am I doing here, man?
Get in my ice bath, boy. Nah, it's fair enough. Anyway, guys, I'll see you again tomorrow.
Booga booga.